The lightsaber. Probably the most legendary weapon in all of fiction. Everyone has one, whether you are 3 years old or 30, you've swung a lightsaber around. Now, throughout the many films and shows, we've seen lightsabers in all kinds of different battles, which means they don't stay nice and pretty forever. Today, I'm going to show you guys how you can weather your very own lightsaber and make it look like it's been through all kinds of galactic warfare. The example I will be using to show you guys is this Cal Westis NeoPixel lightsaber that I got for my Cal Westis cosplay, but recently we used it in a upcoming fan film called Kestis, A Jedi Survivor Story. There'll be a little pop-up popping up in the corner right now to go check out that little teaser trailer that just dropped. But while filming that, my hands get sweaty, I have gloves on, it gets thrown around a lot, so a lot of the paint has rubbed off, and I kind of wanted to show you guys how I went through and weathered it. Now, there's already some things that I've done to it from the first time I weathered it, but I mean, we're pretty close to starting from ground zero, so I'm just going to walk you through it. Before we get started, though, I want to make it clear that if you do this, you do slightly run the risk of damaging your lightsaber. You will be working with exposed electronics, and you want to be very careful where you're putting paint and spray paint and all that stuff, so please be careful. Now that we have that disclaimer out of the way, let's get weathering. So we're going to be starting with just a cheap black paint that I picked up for like $1.50 at Walmart, and it's just going to get the job done. So we're using a sponge brush and just kind of dabbing it on that darker part of Cal Westis' hilt, and this is a weathering technique that can be used on any lightsaber. If you want to make the metal look dark and used and like it's just been across the universe, then this is the method for you. Also, don't be afraid to go a little heavy on this. There's a step at the very end that kind of thins it all out and makes it look very uneven and like nature has fully taken control. So I myself go a little heavy on this step as well. Don't think you messed up. Acrylic paint is very easy to fix. Okay, so we finished up our black there. It's a little rough around the edges. We'll clean it up later. The next spot, y'all totally don't have to do, but I just wanted to touch up some gold around the top of the emitter that had kind of rubbed off during filming. It's just a little detail that I think adds some color and some contrast, and I wanted to fix it. For this next step, you're just going to need a fine grit piece of sandpaper. A used one is totally fine. If anything, it makes it better. But I'm just going to scrape the edges of the hard metal and just kind of make it look like there's this light metal highlight going around. I think it does a great job to give it a little bit more of a silhouette, and as you can see, now we're going to be thinning out that black acrylic paint that was on the grip. This is a very important part. You don't want to go too hard, you don't want to go too light either. You want it to just be a very uneven, natural finish, so you can even have it be really dark in some spots, really light in others. Really up to you, but for me, I'm using reference photos and trying to make it the proper shade for Cal Westis' lightsaber. After that, I'm going to go in and add a little bonus detail. So as we know from Jedi Fallen Order, Cal Westis' lightsaber, or should I say Jaro Tapal's lightsaber, was shot in half during Order 66. So there's this heat exposure on the bottom that I think would look really cool if it was on my lightsaber hilt. So I just grabbed like a bronze metallic paint and just kind of added it in there really harshly around the edges and then faded it in a little bit more towards the center of the grip. So this is probably my favorite part of the whole lightsaber. I think it looks awesome. I think it adds, like I said with the gold, a little bit more color, makes it more visually interesting, and yeah, what a fun little detail. And here's the finished result of that oxidized metal. I think it looks dope and I love it. The final step before we clear coat and seal this bad boy is to just grab a hard piece of metal or even a rock and just go ahead and add some scratches and some abrasiveness to this saber hilt. Cal has been all across the galaxy, from freaking fighting Night Sisters on Dathomir to, I don't know, falling off statues on Zeph. I have no idea, but I wanted it to look like this saber has just been beat to hell, and I wanted it to have all kinds of deep scratches and scrapes on it. So this is the final look for the saber. All of the paint is down, the scratches are down, and the final step is just going to be to seal this with some clear coat and protect that paint job. So I'm just using some basic Rust-Oleum ×2 matte clear and am making sure to only spray it on the bottom grip. I did not want to risk getting it on the soundboard or the battery compartment, and I recommend you do the same if your saber has electronics.
You would be wise to surrender.
Yeah, probably.
So that is going to do it for how I weather my lightsabers and even some blasters. I think it's really simple. I think it's useful. I hope you guys found some use for it with your props at home. And share this with your friends. If you're looking to explore the Cal Westis universe just a little bit more, you can check out the links in the description below that will take you to my very own merch shop called Clanker's Closet, as well as my podcast. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video and indulge in some little nerdiness with me. Star Wars is the best, and I'm always looking for new ways to incorporate it in things that I do and share it with new people. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and as always, may the Force be with you.